important. The student's work is not your work. It's just not. And I see myself, my home, everything is more of a minimalist aesthetic, but when it comes to making work, that's not what comes out. I'm not a minimalist, and that surprised me. It's very much a surprise. I think, you know, having gone to school at the Maryland Institute really is a challenge to making your work honest and personal. And it's also a trick in this day and age in the art world to do that, because there is a school of thought that when work becomes too personal, it's less than, it's somehow not worth it. I think the break from abstract expressionists all along is that attitude that the mind has more power than the heart. I used to have lots of conversations with my own teacher, who I love dearly, and we would spend hours talking about whether it was, you know, the intellect or intuition that needed to take over. And he always would tell me it was the place where the two met. And I am still convinced that's not true, that intuition is more important. And I really believe that intuition is our new frontier. That study of consciousness, to me, was abandoned when people abandoned abstract expressionism. And I don't like the term expressionism, as all my students will tell you. Don't ever tell me you make work to express yourself, because I can stand on a chair and scream and holler and I'm expressing myself, I'm not making artwork. So I don't like the term abstract expressionism. And I think even abstraction, I was just reading before I came here from one of my really important mentors in England, and how he does not like the term abstract. And I think we are really on the verge of understanding consciousness. We're just really babies in terms of what consciousness means and what that means to reality, and whether thoughts become things. And so the study of quantum physics is particularly important to me, as if I know much about, you know, really in-depth quantum physics. I don't. But the interest in the observer in terms of creating your own reality and what you observe, making you understand that reality is inevitably of interest to me. I've always loved things metaphysical. I've always been into anything like that, and I can't get enough of it. You know, when Anna talks about this being, the show being a Rorschach test, and I think maybe life is a Rorschach test. And it's curious to me what you do see in the work, and it's not surprising to me that we all see something different. When I looked at the piece around the corner called The Oracle, it is a totally different piece to me than the last time I showed it. And it actually is called an oracle because of what I am seeing today. And I won't go into that in depth because it'll spoil it for you. But I am highly influenced by nature, but again, I'd go back to Jackson Pollock, who said, I am nature. So it is a study. The work is very personal. And people ask, how do you make it? And really, I just pour paint. The paint is very thin, it's poured. What I tell my kids at school is that you're really not working with paint and pencil and canvas. You're working with light and energy and time and space. And so this work is very much about space. It's very much about time. This work accumulates over time, and that's why the layers happen. And people say, well, how do you get this and how do you get that? And it's really just trusting and watching and waiting and waiting and watching and trusting and being open to that vulnerability. And I think my husband will tell you some of this work comes together easily, and it happens, and it's like I was open and vulnerable and ready for it. And some of it I fight. And that tells me a lot about where I'm at and what I'm thinking about and where my life is moving. So it's very important work for me in terms of my own growth, and I'm kind of as stunned as, you know, looking around here and thinking, this is me, and it's a little scary. I know the work is changing, and I'm anxious to see where it's going, but I know that I don't doubt what I know about paint anymore. I know that it's magic. I know there's magic in the universe. I know there's more than what we have here. And as I'm watching all my colleagues get older, and I'm seeing the old Mata board here tonight, and I'm thinking, we were a lot younger then. And I just firmly, this has rooted my belief, and it's called the show is called Beyond Belief, not because I think it's beyond belief. That was the joke of the, yeah, look, now you're one. But because I think that there is something beyond belief, and it is knowing. And it's a knowingness in your whole body. And that's what I'm going for. And that's when I know when to stop. So it's harder to start a painting than it is to stop one. So what I'm really looking for is that space in my own body that knows. And it's confirmation to me that my own interest in all things metaphysical can be explored in tangible ways. That there is a way to explore this. And that's why I think the whole quantum physics is really important. I don't think that this is a dead-end kind of painting. I think this is the beginning, and we have to do more of it if we're going to keep matching science, and if we're going to keep, even, I think, the abstract expressionists, maybe we're one step ahead of quantum physicists in knowing that the heart matters. And I'm going to stop there, and just if you have questions, take them from there. Okay?